Another week, another UFC fight night, and another award-winning show, or it will be award-winning. Somewhere down the line, welcome into Combat Coach, part of the Coach Picks umbrella show, episode, whatever you want to call it. He is Ian Parker, part of the Duck Army. I am the coach, and this is the show. Every single week, we break down every fight on the card, give you our leans, give you our picks, but also, if you become a VIP member at Coach Picks, you can get all of Ian's best bets and really be ahead of the game more so than anybody else. But we got a 15-fight card this week, Ian, so we got a lot to get to, pal.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, first fight on the card, heavyweights. Jared Vanderbijl, plus 195 against Sergey Spivak, minus 250. You don't see, Ian, a heavyweight fight normally start the card, but we are going to see that this week.
Yeah, I like Spivak here. I just think that he's more well-rounded, very tall guy. We've seen him in other fights that, it's funny, the ones that we think he's going to win, he loses and vice versa. I just think that in this fight, he now has the experience to get it done. And, pending on where he wants to, as long as he doesn't brawl and he keeps his distance or gets the fight to the ground and ends up on top, he should be able to get the victory here.
I forgot to give the odds for the over-unders. I will do that on every fight. Over 1.5, minus 235. The under 1.5 coming back at plus 195. All right, second fight on the board tonight or tomorrow night. Eamon Sahabi, plus 155. Draco Rodriguez, minus 185. This is a bantamweight matchup. Over 2.5, minus 195. And the under 2.5 coming back at plus 160. What do you like?
I do like the over in this one. Both guys not really known for finishing. You might know that name, Zahabi. His older brother is the famous coach over at TriStar with coach guys like George St. Pierre, etc. I just think Rodriguez is going to be too much. His aggression, his striking is going to be better. Zahabi's just way too hesitant and doesn't mind waiting, unfortunately, until the end of the third round, which is way too long. Give me Rodriguez at minus 185, and I also like the over here.
For those of you that are brand new to MMA betting or may not know a lot about it, we try to educate you here as well. And MMA betting is different than normal overs and unders. So when you see a minus 195, it's not as scary as if you're doing an over-under in an NFL game. Just understand that. All right, third fight on the board, Saturday night. Chas Skelly, plus 205. Jamal Emmers, minus 245. These are featherweights. The over 2.5 coming in at minus 180. The under 2.5 coming back at plus 150. What do you like here?
This is a really fun fight. Emmers is a guy that is an up-and-comer, and people are excited about him, but he's going against a very crafty veteran, Chas Skelly. The only reason why this line is the way it is Chas has been out for a while, had a bad back injury, wasn't even sure if he was going to return. I've spoken with Chas. He sounds great. He sounds like he's ready to go, very well prepared. Cardio machine, great wrestler, sneaky subs. This is one of those times where it is okay to go for the underdog, and at this price, I like Chas Skelly at plus 205.
All right, very good. Fourth fight on the card, Shayna Dobson, a plus 120. Casey O'Neill, who's won 10 straight dating back to her amateur days. She's a minus 150 favorite. These are flyweights, over 2.5, minus 225. It is a women's fight. We know those odds are usually pretty high. Under 2.5 coming back at plus 185. What do you like?
I don't mind parlaying the over here. I know people saw Dobson in the last fight as the biggest underdog in the card and ended up getting a finish over a tough opponent. However, someone in Casey O'Neill is not going to make the same mistake as being the over-aggressor and kind of going all out and getting rid of that gas tank way too quick. I think this will be I don't want to say a back and forth fight to an extent. I think O'Neill will probably take over in the second, third round with the output. So I like O'Neill minus 150. And like I said, parlay the over with something else later in the card.
All right, very good. The next fight on the card was supposed to be Rafael Alves and Pat Sabatini, but Alves missed weight by 11 pounds. How is that possible, Ian?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when that happened, someone obviously maybe he got food poisoning. Maybe he got sick and he tried, but right before he got here and was hoping that he'd be okay and try to do all that water weight, which then would have probably impacted his performance. Not only missing weight for the weight class you're fighting in, but the weight class above. An injury or something had to have happened like weeks ago. This isn't something that just happened within 3 or 4 days. Guys usually that have a weight cut of 10 or more try to get within that window. So in the last, 36 to 40 hours, it's not too brutal of a cut when you're in the tub or you're in the sauna. So that scares me. I hope he's okay. I hope we see him back in soon, but that's a really, really big miss.
Sometimes when it's 2 or 3 pounds, like a fight later in the card tomorrow night, the fight still goes and they give up a part of their purse, but you can't do 11 pounds. I mean, it wouldn't be fair for anybody involved, to be honest. All right, next fight on the card, Nate Landwehr, minus 120. Julian Erosa, a minus 110, over 2.5, minus 115. Under 2.5, also minus 115. These are featherweights. What do you like?
So I like a Rosa here. In his last fight, huge underdog, was getting dominated by a rising star, and then he just weathered the storm, came back and got the win by submission, knowing and he has that in his toolbox. He's gotten very awkward striking, very tall guy for the division, very lanky, and his footwork is really solid. Nate is a tough Southern boy. This dude can bang. He will yell at you during the fight. He likes punishment. He will take one to give one. He'll take 10 to give one. But his ground game just isn't really there, and that's where these two are different. When Nate fought, I believe it was Herbert Burns, that was the huge difference, was the ground game here. I think Rosa gets it done if he takes his fight to the ground and doesn't try to brawl. At minus 110, I like that there.
All right, very good. Our next fight on the card, John Castaneda, minus 125. Eddie Weinland, minus 105. Bantamweights, the over 2.5 coming in at minus 195 here, and the under 2.5 coming back at plus 160. What do you like?
Man, I'm a big Eddie Weinland fan from back in the WEC days. Guy is an OG. He's been around forever. Unfortunately, string of bad luck in his last fight. You know, and a guy in John Castaneda, again, is a guy on the rise that we really have to pay attention to. And this is an interesting name to get on his resume this early in his career. I do think John is going to be the faster guy at the moment. And Eddie, he used to be able to take power a lot more. And we've seen that guys in this division can get knockouts. I'm not saying it ends early, but I think Castaneda has what it takes to get it done against the veteran.
All right, very good. Next fight on the card, Luis Pena, plus 140, taking on Daukaus, minus 170. These are lightweights, over 2.5, minus 245, under 2.5 coming back at plus 205. What do you like?
I like Close here. He's fought the better competition. He's going to have the heavier hands, and he'll be the aggressor. Pena is good. He's got a great guillotine. You know, off his back, he's a little too hesitant. He relies way too much there, and I don't think he gets the submission. I think Close is going to walk him down and beat him.
All right, very good. Next fight on the card, Danny Chavez, minus 145, taking on Jared Gordon, plus 115. These are featherweights. Gordon did miss weight by 4 pounds, so he'll have to give up a big part of his purse. Over 2.5, minus 195. Under 2.5, plus 160. Any issues with the weight here?
Not as much. Sometimes this is actually a blessing in disguise for a fighter, not having to cut those last pounds, especially if your body just can't get rid of any more water. So Jared Gordon's going to have the wrestling edge here, the experience edge, the level of competition edge. You know, if the odds makers are doing this just because of weight, I like it. So I'm going to take the underdog here at Jared Gordon. I'm very surprised it's at plus 115. Chavez has not fought anyone to this level, and I think Gordon's got the grit and the heart to really grind out a win here.
All right, very good. Keep that in mind. We like the underdogs because it's not always going to be scratch. It's not always going to be chop. Some nights it is, but rarely. All right, let's go back to the heavyweight division. Next fight on the card, Andrei Arlovski. Obviously, he's a UFC vet, plus 200, taking on Tom Espinal, minus 255 favorite. The over is 1.5 here, minus 165. The under 1.5 coming back at plus 135. What do you like?
I don't like touching overs or unders too much with heavyweights for the obvious reason. All it takes is a sneeze in the right direction and they go to sleep. But, you know, Andrei Arlovski is showing us that he wants to be here, that he still has gas left in the tank, and he's willing to fight not as popular guys to get back to a potential title shot. However, he is running into a tank in Tom Espinal. I think Espinal is one of those guys in this division that really has the chops and has the potential to make an impact in the heavyweight division. We've seen him finish fights, you know, against guys with a lot lesser experience than Andrei Arlovski, but Arlovski's chin is not great. Stand-up is still okay. I just think Aspinall is going to be the way better athlete, and that's going to get it done here. Tom Aspinall minus 255. I actually don't even mind laying down those odds for him in this fight.
All right, very good. Sometimes Ian will tell you, put certain guys, if they're over minus 300, minus 250, into a parlay to bring those odds down. But what he just said was he's so confident in Espinal that he doesn't mind laying minus 255 for all of you amateur bettors out there. All right, next fight on the card, Imanoff, minus 105, taking on Phil Hawes, minus 125. The over is also 1.5 in this fight, minus 120. The under 1.5 coming back at minus 110. These are middleweights. What do you like?
Sneaky good matchmaking here. Really, really solid. This is going to be an exciting fight. Both guys showing their striking acumen lately. The only real difference here is I believe Hawes is going to have the advantage in the wrestling department. You know, so if Imanoff's striking gets a little too much and Hawes can't land that power shot, he can always go back to that. Man, this is a tough one to really call. I think Phil Hawes just has that it factor that we don't see all that often, and Imanoff might have it. I just don't think I've seen that same level yet. The odds are obviously showing this is a very close and even matchup. I'm leaning Phil Hawes in this one at -125.
All right, very good. I like the tight matchups, though. I really, really do.
No.
I don't like laying -255 very much. All right, next fight on the card, Alexei Olynyk. These are heavyweights. Again, several heavyweight fights tomorrow night, +160, taking on Chris Daukaus, -200. The over, again, over 1.5. These are heavyweights, +140, under 1.5, coming back at -170. How do you see this one going?
This one's probably going to go under 1.5. Daukaus has been showing us some really good power with 2 finishes in his last 2 fights. And my man Alexei, man, it's this guy, age is not a thing for him. He's got the fountain of youth, probably one of the best submission guys in the history of the sport at heavyweight. You know, what he started to do is he started to say, you know what, I can't just get guys to the ground anymore. I got to throw some punches. So he's throwing bombs and he's landing. So in this fight, I don't mind going under 1.5. I also don't mind sprinkling a little bit on the underdog here. I think he has the ability, if he can get this fight to the ground. Now, Daukaus is not bad at grappling. He's not. But Olynyk is just at a different level. And if he gets to this fight to the ground and gets on top, that arm triangle will probably be there. I think Alexei Olynyk's going to surprise some people again. And Father Time doesn't stand a chance. So I'm going to go with the underdog.
When we use the term sprinkle, that means maybe not make the full bet size that you would normally make. And we also encourage you, whatever your bet size is, make it the same throughout. Don't go $100 here and then throw 700 here and 400 here. Money management is so important when you're in the world of sports betting, and especially MMA betting. All right, next fight on the card, Derek Minner, +155, taking on Charles Rosa, -190. These are featherweights, over 2.5, +155. The under 2.5 coming back at -185. What do you see here?
I like the underdog here again. I think Derek Minner is a really tough guy. In his last fight against TJ Laramie, he was a huge underdog, and he got a sub over a guy who'd never get subbed. You know, Charles Rosa is a talented fighter. He always has been. He just has never really gotten to that level where we expected. He just gets way too comfortable in bad positions, and in a 3-round fight, that's not going to do you any good. If you're going to be willing to lay on your back and fish for submissions against a guy in Minner who's going to try and submit you, who's a cardio machine, I just don't see that being a good fight for him. This is not a great matchup for him. If he can keep this fight standing at a distance, maybe, but we just don't see Rosa using that striking ever. He just gets too into it too quick and is so hesitant and doesn't mind being on his back. This is an underdog play or pass. You could explain what that means in a sec, but I'm going Derek Minner at +155.
All right, when he says pass, maybe not lay any money on it at all. Not super confident. So either bet the underdog here or just lay off this bet altogether, this fight altogether. All right, we're up to our co-main event of the evening. Kunskaya, +210. Caitlin Vieira, -270 favorite. Over 2.5, -330 robust. Under 2.5 coming back at +255. These are bantamweights. What do you like?
So yeah, Kunskaya, she is a very tough fighter, married to Thiago Santos. So we know her background's there. She's got a good coach, got someone good in her corner with a lot of experience. She's a clinch fighter. She will hold you there for 3 rounds like we've seen. It doesn't really do a whole lot else. She likes to hold position, throw the shoulder, the elbows, a little bit of the knees to the thigh. But against someone like Caitlin Vieira, she's not going to be able to do that. Vieira is going to be the stronger fighter, better striker, excellent at judo, and excellent on the ground. I like Caitlin Vieira here at -270 in a parlay with a couple of other big favorites. She just is the more well-rounded fighter, and I don't expect her to get trapped against the cage for 3 rounds. I just don't see it.
Okay, so put that one in a parlay. All right, our main event of the evening. They're the big boys. Derek Lewis, +335. Curtis Blaydes, -435. Wow, these odds. Over 1.5, -200. The under 1.5 coming back at +160. Obviously, again, these are heavyweights. What do you see in our main event?
Curtis Razor Blaydes should win this fight. This is kind of tailored to his style. Derek Lewis is a power puncher with not great takedown defense. He's okay at defending subs off his back, but a guy in Curtis Blaydes we saw against his fight against Volkov, we know that he can go for 5 rounds with an absurd amount of takedowns, control the fight, stay away from damage. And he's been very public saying he does not care what the fans think of him. He's got a family to feed. He's all about getting the win. He is not going to go in and slug with Derek Lewis. He said, guys, look, I'm going to throw 2 jabs, maybe an overhand right. I'm going to take Big Boy down by his legs. He will throw that outside single. He will go for the high crotch. He will do whatever wrestling he's got to do. He's not going to mess around. And Curtis Blaydes is not the biggest finisher either, and Derek is a very powerful guy, more athletic than his body looks. So I do like over 1.5 here. I also like Curtis Blaydes in a parlay. I just can't leave him out of these bets. Even at minus 435, there's got to be a way to maximize that value. And in this situation, you'd parlay him with two people that are minus 250 or higher. Therefore, at least you're getting an even money play and you're maximizing. So Curtis Blaydes and the over in the main event.
All right, very good. Well, you heard the man. So it is that time of the show. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Time for our recap quickly. All right, in the first fight, he likes Spivak. It's minus 250 favorite. Heavyweights coming out of the block. Then Draco Rodriguez, minus 185. But the bet he likes here is the over 2.5 rounds. Then Chaz Kelly, plus 205. An underdog likes that play. These two, by the way, trained together back in the day. Then Casey O'Neill, minus 150. Also, Ian says parlay the over in this fight. The Alves fight is off. If you are at a book that has it, do not bet it because you cannot bet it. Then he likes a Rosa, minus 110 over Landwehr. Then Castaneda, minus 125 in really a pick'em fight over Eddie Weinland. Next fight, close, minus 170 over Pena. Then Gordon, plus 115 over Chavez. Then Espinal, minus 255 over Arlovski. And you like Hawes, minus 125 over Imanoff. And then Olynyk, you like to sprinkle a little bit there on the underdog, plus 160. But the play you really like in this fight is under 1.5. That's coming in at minus 170. And the final three fights of the night. Derek Minner, also an underdog, plus 155. Either bet him or pass. And then in our co-main event, you like Vieira, minus 270 to put her in a parlay. And also you want to parlay in the main event, Curtis Blaydes. Maybe use those two pieces with somebody else in a 3-play parlay. Would you like that?
Yeah,
like that?
If you even want to throw in Spivak right away, get one of those wins right after the first fight of the entire night and then wait till later in the night. I like that a lot.
All right. Also, follow us on social media at IanParkerMMA, at The Coach Rules. We'll be tweeting all night during the show. It starts, I believe Dana White says, at 5 Eastern with the prelim card and then the main card at 8 Eastern time. All the fights are going to be on ESPN+. So if you're not a subscriber, you got to pay attention to us on social media so we can keep track of how we're doing. Now, a reminder, these are not the bets that Ian is betting on. We have premium picks for our VIP members at the Coach Picks. It's usually 4 or 5 picks during the night. But if you're not a VIP member, you can use this information from the show to educate yourself and make your own plays. All right, that's going to do it. Ian, are you ready for tomorrow night?
Always ready, Coach. Let's go.
All right, for Ian Parker, for our main man, Cody Merrow, who is our incredible producer, I am the coach. This has been another edition of Combat Coach. Good luck, and let's take all of these picks straight to the pay window.